Travel Through Grief. Welcome to Travel Through Grief. I'm your host, Ellen Beckemeyer. So today is the official Start Over Day. Have you ever noticed that we celebrate new beginnings, but we don't talk nearly as much about starting over? That's really not the same thing. Starting something new is often exciting, a new hobby, job, relationship, venture. When you're starting something new, you might know absolutely nothing. You're a beginner. Starting over is different. Starting over usually arrives after something has ended. It's changed, or it just didn't go according to plan. And while you may not know exactly what comes next, you're really not starting from scratch. What you are doing is you're bringing something with you. You're bringing your experience, your wisdom, lessons, even scars, and some perspective. You know, life has a way of teaching us things we've never signed up to learn. I think that's why so many people resist the phrase starting over. It sounds like we're being sent back to the very beginning, but you know, we're really not. We are starting from here, and here is very different than where we began. Think about your own life. Have you ever had a day when you realized the plan was no longer the plan? The conversation changed, and it changed everything. Or, unfortunately, that diagnosis changed everything too. A loss can change everything, and a decision definitely changes everything. You wake up expecting one future, and you find yourself standing in another. Most of us have. And that's when the real question shows up. And this is one of my favorite questions. Now what? Not why did this happen? Not why me? Not if only. But what if it just asks, now what? I think about some of the stories we all know. One of my favorites, Star Wars. Luke Skywalker thought he knew what his life looked like. Then he left home. Then he lost the people who raised him, and then he lost Obi-Wan Kenobi. Every time he got comfortable with the story changed on him. And each time he had to decide who he was going to be next. We don't start over once. We start over again and again and again. Sometimes it's after heartbreak. Sometimes it's even after success. Sometimes it's just after a dream comes true and we discover we're still being called somewhere else. Life is just adjustment, course correction. It's realizing what you thought was going to happen isn't what happened. And deciding what comes next anyway, because there's always a next. What I've learned is that courage doesn't usually show up all at once. It shows up in many small ways. Making that phone call, which I hate doing, sending the application, just walking into the gym, booking the trip, or even going to lunch alone or attending an event. It's the trying again. It's the trusting again. And most of all, it's the beginning again. Most starting over moments don't look heroic. They look ordinary until you realize how much courage it took to take that next step. And maybe that's where you find yourself today. Not at the beginning, not at the end. You're just standing at a crossroads, looking at a chapter that is closing, looking at another one that hasn't really fully opened yet. If that's you, I want you to remember something. You know more than you think you do. You've survived things before, and you've adapted before. You've figured the things out before. The person standing here today has wisdom the younger version of you didn't have. You are not starting from zero, you all. You are not starting from zero. What you are doing is you are starting from experience, and that changes everything. So on this start over day, maybe the invitation isn't to have all the answers. Maybe it's simply to take the next step. Just one conversation, decision, act of courage, small beginning. Because sometimes starting over isn't about reinventing your whole life. Sometimes it's just choosing not to stay stuck in the chapter that has already ended. And who knows? The thing you're calling a starting over today may someday become the story you're most grateful that you lived. What is one area of your life where you've been telling yourself you're starting from scratch, when in reality, you're just starting from experience? You don't have to begin again as a beginner. You get to begin again as someone who has lived, learned, loved, lost, and most of all, grown. And that's a powerful place to start. Now I'm going to bring up a weird example, but I want you to think about Batman. So we know that Bruce Wayne lost his parents when he was very young, especially if you've seen all the movies. At what point between Bruce Wayne and Batman did Bruce make the decision to have courage and to become Batman? So I will leave you with that. Thank you for listening to Travel Through Grief, and until next time, please help yourself find your way forward. If this episode connected with you, I'd love for you to follow our podcast, leave a review, or share it with someone who may need it. Those small actions truly help new podcasts like Travel Through Grief grow and reach more people. And thank you to everyone who has already listened, rated, reviewed, and supported this journey. I appreciate you more than you know. Until next time, keep finding your way forward.